All right. Well, it is
Uh-huh.
exactly 7:30 my time, 5:30 for most of your times. So I'm just going to dive right in. If we have not met, my name is Jodi Dillmon. I am in Boerne, Texas. And tonight I get to share with you all fun things about creative party ideas that maybe you haven't heard before, or perhaps you have heard, but maybe have never done, and give you a spin on it. So just so all of you know who I am, I've been doing Pampered Chef for almost 17 years. I primarily did in-home parties for most of my business. Right before COVID hit, I did dive into the virtual world, and I was super glad to have done that prior to COVID. And through that, was able to meet people all across the United States, fell in love with the virtual world, loved it. And then when I moved to Texas, I really wanted to go back to in-home parties. And so I basically moved my business from across the country, from Washington State all the way to Boerne, Texas. And in doing so, had to pivot, had to change the way I was doing things so that I could get out back into the public and actually go into people's homes and do home parties. So tonight I'm going to share with you some different party ideas that are actually intended to be in person. So is there anybody, maybe you could put in the chat, is there anybody here already doing in-person parties, or is there anybody who's like totally 100% virtual? I'm sure. Those of you who say I'm totally virtual, I'm going to challenge you to one, step out of your comfort zone and try one of the ideas that I'm going to share with you. Or two, you could be the ones who are pivoting as far as like creating this concept in a virtual party or however you could do it. So there is no reason why any of the ideas that I'm about to share cannot be done virtually. And those of you who are virtual people and you do not want to do in-home parties, well then we're going to lean on you to come up with the ways to make it happen virtually. But in the meantime, I am going to share 3 different party ideas with you tonight. I'm just going to make sure everyone's muted here. And they are going to be, I'm going to talk to you about how to do a Zoom party. I'm going to talk to you about how to do a salad in the jar party. I'm going to talk to you about doing a multi-cooker class. And I guess I have 4 because the last one I'm going to finish is going to be like kind of an all-in-one. It's going to be a concept called Dinner on the Dime, where you are using either the deep covered baker or the rock crock. And that's where we're going to finish the night off. And I have very little time, so I'm going to talk really, really fast. You're probably going to want to rewatch this recording. And as questions come up, we can put them in the chat, and then I will revisit them when we get to the end of this talk here. So first of all, I want to talk about Zoom parties. This is something I started because I was moving across the country and I didn't want to lose the parties that I had in Washington State when I moved. And so I thought there has to be a way for me to still do this and have success and not have to lose my customers. And so a Zoom party, I basically literally treat it exactly like an in-home party. And I have a host, or you could be the host, totally up to you. And basically how it goes is I advertise it with a theme. So I'll give you some examples of different themes that I have done in a Zoom party. I have done wine, cheese, and chocolate. I have done fajitas and margaritas, and I've done 30-minute meals. And I advertise the theme. My host gets to choose, and then I have a recipe already chosen ahead of time that I'm going to actually demo during the actual Zoom party. So there's 2 ways to do it. You could have your host, if she's in another state, actually invite all of her friends to her house, and she can actually have an in-home party essentially in her home. And then you could be on the TV via Zoom. That's one way. Or if everybody is all across the United States, then you could have a party that is literally just everybody's there via Zoom. So I've done it both ways, and both ways can be absolutely successful. Once they have picked which way they're going to do it, the theme, you're going to pick a day just like you would with any other party. Then you're going to create an event. You can create an event on Facebook. You're going to create a text invite. And then you're also going to give her a link for your website, of course. And you're going to host coach a Zoom party, probably more than you would even a virtual party or an in-home party. So you really want to be connected with that host so that she is so fully aware of everything and knows how to do, knows exactly what to expect. So if everybody's coming to the host house and they're going to do like an in-home party at their house, then I actually will send catalogs and order forms for all the guests beforehand. So that's one option. If everyone's just doing it via Zoom, then I will send my host a packet no matter what with just like 1 or 2 catalogs and some order forms and my normal packet that I would normally send. I also, if she's going to have people at her house, then I also send a seasoning packet, instructions on how to make a dip, and I also include a recipe that she could make. So I'm going to give you just one example. When I did the wine, cheese, and chocolate, I sent her the recipe for the zesty apricot baked brie. And then she made the brie ahead of time before her friends got to her house. They all were eating it. And then me on my end, I actually made the zesty apricot baked brie so they could see all the products in use and in action. And I actually demoed how to do it because it's so quick and easy. If they did fajitas and margaritas, then I might send them a recipe of something they could make ahead of time. They could totally make fajitas at their house ahead of time if they want. And then I'm going to simply do a condensed version of it. And I'm probably going to be using like my deluxe grill pan or something like that, or the deluxe grill and griddle and that kind of thing. But I want her to have prizes. So if she's having people over at her house, I actually will send her a few prizes. I'll send her tickets. I'll send her season's best cookbook that I give to every host. And then I'll have a handwritten note in it. And I will explain during the party that I would love for every person to sign her cookbook, just like I would if it were to be a live party. So if it's all via Zoom, then you're going to be able to do what you want. I mean, we've had so many excellent people like Genevieve and Michelle who've come on here and they've demoed how they might do something live, either in their Facebook group or like their examples of how they would do it. So there doesn't have to be a set outline. The biggest thing about a Zoom party is you want it to be fun. You want everybody to feel included, and you really want to make sure you're very clear on exactly how they can order. And that is the most critical part of, I think, of a Zoom party is you have to give those instructions. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really difficult to get orders at the end. So this could also be a part of a virtual party where you decide that you're going to do a Zoom party in the middle of it. Or you could even go live. I mean, this is just one idea of different things that you can do. And I would share what the specials are. I would offer them to have a party of their own. I would go through all that. And like I had mentioned, make sure they know exactly how to order. And then just like we're here right now, I would be snapping a photo with all of the guests, just like I would in a live party or whatnot. And I would be sharing that on social media about how the host has all of our friends together and here we are having so much fun, and she was able to earn free products. And then of course snap photos of whatever the food. Ask your host to snap photos if she's having her friends over at her house, and then that's going to be your ticket to being able to advertise this on social media so that then you can create that desire and interest and create an avenue for you to come up with some more parties in a new and different way. I think I'm going to stick with just that right now. After the party, this is very important. After this party, I know many of you who are virtual party people, you do a post saying this is the last post of your party, and you have her post, my party's about to end and I'm only this many products away from earning the next reward or whatever your verbiage is. I still do that. So I totally incorporate all the different concepts that we use when we do virtual parties in a Zoom party, and it's just so simple. But I love that all the people who say, "Oh gosh, I wish we could get together in person," this is your way to do it. And it's so fun and so great. And I've done it with I think I've done like 10 of them now. And I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I didn't have a starting place. And so hopefully this will give you a few different tips and ideas of just a way to get going. And if you want to just try it out for yourself, then you pick your own theme and you make it happen and you invite everybody from all across the country to come join you and get to see you in action and hear your voice and see you and get a kind of a different experience than just the virtual party world. Okay, the next concept, and I'll come back to the questions when I'm all done. So we'll go through the chat when I'm done and I'll answer any questions that anyone has. But I want to make sure I get all the concepts in here first so that you have some fun ideas that you can start using right away. So the second one that I want to share is called Salad in a Jar. And this is one that I did when I was in Washington, and it was a huge success. I offered it as a show that people could host. And I thought, I need to meet my neighbors. I need to like have people who have met me but don't really know what I do and don't really feel comfortable with me enough to host a party of their own quite yet. I need them to see me in action and see the products in action so that they would hopefully want to book their own party. So I picked a date and I invited all of my neighbors. I invited coworkers, people that I had met through the chamber. I had met some other moms, people from church, and I advertised it as come with a 1 quart wide mouth mason jar and lid. And I will actually be providing all the rest of the ingredients for you to all make your very own salad that you can then have for lunch the next day. And so that's how I advertised it. And I was very intentional. I made sure that everybody knew exactly what to expect, that they were going to go home with their very own salad and it was going to be super fun and delicious. And they were going to learn the concept of how to create 5 days worth of salads in a jar, that the 5th day salad would taste just as great as the first day salad. And that was the concept of how I would make this work. And so when they got to my house, it was super awesome. I had all the ingredients for the salad. And if you were to have a host do this, then they would purchase the ingredients for this. But what I chose to do is in my own home, I purchased all the ingredients. And I shared with them the actual concept of the salad in the jar and the layering system and why the salad could last that many days in the kitchen or in the fridge without it going bad. And it's all just about the way it's layered and how it's stored. And so at the party itself, I had recipes for them to take home for future ideas. I had catalogs out. I had snacks on the table so they could snack. And then I grilled chicken on the deluxe grill and griddle so they could see that in action. We, of course, chopped it with the salad choppers. And then I took all different vegetables that I could pair with product. So for instance, I would have like an onion with the food chopper. I had bell peppers with the rapid prep and cucumbers. I had the veggie wedger for zucchini. I had the cup slicer for mushrooms and olives. And so you're kind of catching on. I had something for the manual food processor. So I wanted them to be able to see and use all of the products that I would usually do with meal prep. So I had them all lined up around my island. I had all the ingredients that we were going to use, or not ingredients, yeah, the ingredients paired with whatever product they have. And then I went through every single product and I actually personally demoed each one. And then I had them in order of the layering system. So it made it really simple for them. So they could literally just layer the salad exactly as it needed to be layered for it to stay fresher longer and that whole thing. And that's what they did. So they all got to chop and dice their own veggies for their own salads. I did not have it all done up ahead of time. It gave them a chance to use all the products, try them all out. And I will tell you, this was probably one of my most successful parties here in Texas. I had a whole crew of people who did not know me very well, but by the end of it, I had 3 parties booked. They were so excited. And from there, it really spread like wildfire, and people were so excited about their salads. They were posting photos the next day. They were thanking me up and down all around afterwards. They had so much fun. I had, like I said, 3 parties booked, which is really what my goal of this was. My sales were over $1,000 that night, which I didn't have any expectations for the sales. But these are things that happen when you try something new. You know, when you get excited about something, then guess who else does? The people who join you and come and be a part of whatever the thing is that you're doing. So it's trying something new, being creative about it, and not making it that big of a deal. You know, like don't think too far into, oh, it has to be perfect, and oh, I have to do all this stuff. No, if you are trying to restart your business, try something new, get back into the in-party person, and we always say have something on your calendar of your own every single month. Wouldn't this be a great avenue and a way to do that? Yes. And then, of course, it's all about the social media and the photos that are taken during like when they're all done. We all stood together with our salads in the jar and we took tons of photos, and it was just the best. So another lady in town, she has a different business, and I just love her idea. I had thought about doing it myself, and basically what she does is she creates a Evite, or I can't remember the platform she used, but essentially what it is every month she has a salad in a jar workshop, and she puts out a list of ingredients needed for the, salads, and then everybody can sign up for an ingredient to bring, and then everyone shows up with their jars and everyone contributes to putting together the salads, and it's just a fun social interactive group. And then during that time, she's able to share about her business and specials. And of course, throughout that, they're using products and everything that she sells, and it's a huge success for her. So there's a way about it. So, okay. So we're getting through it. Like I said, any questions, put them in the chat and I'll come back to them. But I'm going to move on. So the next class is called a multi-cooker class. Used to be my quick cooker class. And this is kind of a different concept. It is in person. And this is one where I would love all you virtual party gurus to come up with a virtual version of this, because I think it would be a huge success for your customers who have purchased the multi-cooker. But what it is basically every single person locally who has purchased the multi-cooker from me, they are the ones who are invited to this class. And they actually come to my house, they RSVP, and then they bring their multi-cooker with them to my house with all of the ingredients already cut up ahead of time, diced up, any prep work that's necessary ahead of time. It's already done in containers, in Ziploc bags, and they just simply come to my house with their multi-cooker. They add all the ingredients to their multi-cooker at the same time. We all do it at the same time. And then as all of our food is cooking, we are talking about all things multi-cooker. We're talking about recipes they've made. I'm talking about whatever new products came out. They're talking about products they love. My last one that I just had, we decided what we're going to do is, since there's like 6 of us right now, not very many, because you have to start this, right, locally. When I was in Washington, I had about 15, and I had to actually limit it. So it was the first 6 to RSVP were the ones who got to come, and trust me, they did. And it was always full. There was never a time where I didn't have 6 people minimum. So it takes time to grow, but this time what we talked about was each month somebody would act as the host, meaning that any orders placed for that month, one person would get the credit for it. So whoever comes, they can gather orders ahead of time, afterwards, but then anybody that night who comes and orders, which they usually do, then each month they get to share in the rewards, basically. So one month this person will get the rewards, the next month this person, and so on and so forth. So it's just a way to even make it even better for them and you. So each person, I give them a folder. I ask each person to print out copies of whatever recipe they're making, and then they give them to each person. And so every person is just collecting every month just new recipes for their multi-cooker. And what I love most about this concept is, one, we're all trying different recipes that we probably would have never made in our multi-cookers. I'm providing value to the people who are purchasing it. And this is my reason why they should purchase this versus going to Costco and buying the cheap version of whatever pressure cooker they have. So we're talking about, like, why should they choose you as their consultant? Why should they purchase this from you and not go off Amazon? Like, what are you doing to provide that additional value to your customers that are making you set yourself apart from all the other consultants that are across the United States? So it's just a really fun way to build community within your neighborhood, your city, wherever you're at, and then also be able to provide additional value. So another thing you could think about is, who's on the fence? Who's on the fence about purchasing a multi-cooker? Those are people you could be inviting to this kind of thing also. Say, hey, I have one spot. So you could even, I have 2 multi-cookers, so I have 2 spots, but I have 2 spots open this month for anybody who wants to come test out the multi-cooker at my house and get to sample a ton of recipes and get to make a recipe of your own that you can try using the multi-cooker. And so it's a great way for others to come and check it out and see what they think, and then either book their own party to get their own or purchase it. So it's totally up to them, but it's just a fun new concept that I actually learned this from Connie Florer, and she told me about this years ago, and I was so blown away by the idea. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad I did. In fact, just to give you an idea of some ideas. So every month we pick a different theme. And so, for instance, one month might be all appetizers. One month might be all chicken recipes. One month might be all soups and stews. One month could be all main dishes. One month could be all side dishes. If you're doing it every single month, it could be centered around different holidays. So like Easter was a fun one. We all made different recipes that we might like to make for Easter dinner. Thanksgiving is a great one because we actually one year made an entire Thanksgiving dinner, all of us using our multi-cookers, from the turkey all the way to the stuffing. I mean, it was so amazing. And it was just like, we've done Mexican themes. We've done, I mean, just so many different ideas. The main thing is that the recipe takes less than 30 minutes to make, and that they pay close attention to making certain it doesn't have to be refrigerated for a certain length of time, and it doesn't have to sit for however long, and the whole entire recipe from start to finish just needs to be in a set amount of time, because you don't want someone coming there and making a sous vide steak that's going to take 6 hours. So those are kind of the parameters behind that one, but I love it. I'm so glad I started it here. I'm so sad for my customers in Washington because I would love, that's why I want you virtual friends to come up with the concept that might give them that similar feel. I'm sure I see the chat going, so I'm sure there's some ideas already being thrown out. So that is the multi-cooker class. And let me make sure I have all that. Yep. Okay. Oh, the last thing about that one is anybody who is there that night, we sit down with the calendar for the next month and we come up with the next date together to make certain that those who are there that night all are able to come on whatever the next month's set date is. And then anybody who couldn't come, hopefully they can join in on that date. That's how I pick the date. So hopefully my goal would be that the people who are there are going to come the next month, and then it kind of just spreads from there. So, okay, I have 4 minutes. So the last concept is essentially, I call it dinner on a dime. I called it the deep covered baker class or the rock crock class. You call it what you want, but the concept is especially good when it's like a month like right now, because next month is all, anybody can pick any product they want, right? So I really like to focus on the deep covered baker or the rock crock, because those are two products that go in the oven, they go in the microwave. The rock crock can go in the slow cooker stand and on the stovetop. But everybody comes to your house and you make all different recipes using either one of those products or both. And the goal is that you are going to either provide value to the people who already own it. So if they already own one or the other, they of course can come and just get tons of ideas and recipes for that product. Or if they don't own it, who cares? Invite everybody anyways. And you are going to talk all the way through why they need this product in their kitchen. And the dinner on the dime is perfect. We used to do 10 at a time, I think, or take a bag full of groceries and whatever you have in your pantry. And I'm going to show you how to make a week's worth of meals. And you break down how you can do that with the deep covered baker. So I'll give you an example, like making a whole chicken. I would have a whole chicken already made up ahead of time. You could do it in the oven or the microwave, whichever you want. Whatever way you make it, you make certain that you share. If during that week you are way too busy and you can't put it in the oven for 2 hours, 15 minutes per pound at 350, instead you could totally cut that time to 30 minutes in the microwave. And this is going to be a way better option than going through Wendy's on the way to soccer practice. Now, what are you going to do with that whole chicken? Well, that night I could serve it with maybe roasted veggies that I put in the deep covered baker while I was cooking it. Or I could steam up some broccoli or have some rice on the side, or I could take it and just eat it with salad. Then the next day, I could take that leftover chicken, add it to my enchiladas, add it to a pasta dish. And then what am I going to do with the bones? I'm going to boil them and make a broth. And now I can turn that into maybe a soup. So you see how I'm taking that one product with one meal, and I'm taking that one meal and I'm turning it into multiple meals. And then I'm making multiple things ahead of time. So like I want to show one whole recipe using either or. If I'm doing the deep covered baker, I'm probably going to make a one pot meal where I could take that whole chicken, make a grilled chicken penne al fresca with that whole chicken after it's been cooked, showing them how I can make pasta in 15 minutes in the microwave. And then I'm going to take the rock crock and I'm going to make a dessert in it. And I'm going to make the dessert in the microwave. And then I'm going to put the topping on it. And I'm going to put it under the broiler. And I'm going to talk all the way through why the rock crock's so amazing and how it saves so much time in the kitchen and whatnot. So what happens is, one, you're providing value because you're helping them see how easy it really can be to get dinner on the table. Because most people are just out of ideas. They're just bored. They don't know what to do. And so you have the ability to be able to provide value to them and provide those ideas and share with them what you truly love about those products and how they saved you so much time in your kitchen. And then talk about why not get some friends together next month? I'll do one of these recipes. I'll make one of these recipes for all of your friends to sample. And then while you're there, guess what? You're going to get this deep covered baker for this price, not saying 60% off, but saying instead of this price, you're going to get it for this price. And of course, knowing those prices ahead of time are really going to help you. I have done, I kid you not, probably a deep covered baker or a rock crock class every single year, probably for 16 years. And I get the most bookings when I do this kind of class because it is one of my top sellers. Well, why is that? Because I truly love it. So this is my advice to you. If you don't own a deep covered baker or a rock crock, you should be investing in one or hosting a party of your own to get it yourself, falling head over heels in love with it and using it like every single day. And then you're really going to be able to take that product and help other people fall in love with it too. And hopefully book tons of parties, because that's what my goal at every single one of these types of parties is. Sales are beautiful, but sales are not going to create future business for you. Bookings are going to create future business for you. So when you're doing a party in any one of these ideas that I've offered tonight, make certain you're creating a massive amount of like value to them and desire, like creating so much desire that they can't wait to have a party of their own so their friends can experience the fun that you have just helped them have that night with whatever party it is. So, and it's 8:01, so I feel like I did pretty good here on time. So now we can go through and I'll look at the chat, and if anyone has to run, totally understand. You can come back to this, but I'll look at the chat and see what we got going on here. And if anyone wants to unmute, you're welcome. And we can have a little bit more of a discussion. I'm seeing lots of virtuals, some doing both. That's great. Lori said she'd like to do more live parties.
Hi, Jodi. Thank you so much for this.
You are so welcome.
Just wondering, do you have like where did you start for recipes and ways to explore things to offer?
Like for the ideas I shared, the concepts, or just in particular, once you pick it, the recipe to make?
Yeah. The recipe to make, like, so recipes for salad in a jar and recipes for the 30-minute dime.
Dinner on a dime. Well, I will tell you, back in the day, Pampered Chef had this all done for us, which was a lovely thing. So I kind of have it in my wheelhouse. So I'm happy. I will share all of the ideas that I've shared tonight with your directors, and they can pass it along to you because it's just, they're on the website at this moment in time. Since they've moved so virtual, I'm not quite sure if they're all still there. But there have been some recipes that I have been making for the entire time I've been doing business. And it started out because that was what Pampered Chef offered. And now they are just so easy and so wonderful that I just keep with them. I'm going through these chats, so if anyone else has any questions. Kelly is excited about the Zoom. Posting on social. I will definitely share the layering system for the salads. Absolutely. In fact, I'm happy to even show you now just so you could see it yourself. I pulled it up before I started because I wanted to make sure if anyone asked, I'd be able to show you. So, and I do not believe this is on the website anymore. I really don't think it is. How do I share? Screen share. So I don't know if anyone is an old timer and remembers this. But this is the jar that Pampered Chef used to do. So basically you do your dressings, your hearty vegetables, then your beans and other veggies, any pasta, your protein, your greens and herbs and nuts and seeds. And they're delicious. So I definitely highly recommend trying it. And for the recipes, I see Mandy had asked, do you have different recipes for each guest in the multi-cooker? So I really want them to create a recipe that they're excited about. So I give them the website, and I actually go to the website, I say multi-cooker recipes, and then I copy and paste that link and I send it to them and say, you're welcome. Here's a bunch of ideas from Pampered Chef if you want to try one of these. I also say that they can make any recipe they want from the cookbook that came with their multi-cooker. But then I encourage them, feel free to look further. Go look up any pressure cooker recipe that takes less than 30 minutes to make that appeals to you, that you would like to try, and let's make it. And then while they're at my house, I'm able to show them how to use it, even though it's not a Pampered Chef recipe. Like, we talk about the custom feature and that kind of thing. And then if I don't know, we learn together, and it's okay to not know. And that's one fun thing about it, is I have had so many people who have not, I mean, so many recipes over the months of doing this where I'm like, ooh, I have no idea. Let's try it this way. In fact, I'm doing a recipe that Michelle Anderson shared during her call. Was it last week or the week before, with her smoky applewood pasta salad? And I'm making it tomorrow at my Pampered Chef party. Well, it makes pasta in the multi-cooker in 4 minutes. And I've never done that. And so I was like, well, I better try it. And lo and behold, I used it tonight. I made it in exactly 4 minutes, and the pasta turned out absolutely perfect. So, I mean, it's just trial and error. And once you fall in love with something, guess what happens? It's easy. It's easy to sell. It's easy to talk about. It's easy to get other people excited. So it's all, and when your customers come to your house and they're making a new recipe they're excited about, and everyone's trying it going, oh my gosh, this is so good. I probably would have never tried this otherwise. Thank you so much. It's just that really fun. And the community is the best part of that. People are making new friends that they would have never met before. They're sharing recipes. They're now friends on Facebook. I mean, so much good can come from something like this. Wendy asked, how many recipes do I make at a live party? I make one recipe. If I do a dessert, it's like pretty much 3/4 of the way already done. And I'm slicing some fresh strawberries and I'm making whipped cream with the whipped cream maker, and that's that. So you don't want to overcomplicate it. Now, if I'm doing the deep covered baker or the rock crock class, I'm still only making one recipe, like in the moment, but I'm probably going to have other things done up ahead of time that I've used it for, so that I can show them different things that you could do with it. Okay, I think I got all the things in the chat. If I missed anything, let me know, unmute, tell me. If anyone has any other questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I hope you all have a beautiful evening, and I appreciate you all to come. Well done for taking some time out of your schedule for your business, and hopefully you'll try one of these ideas. Okay.
Thanks, Jodi. That was awesome.
Okay, you're welcome. No problem. Have a great night, everyone.